Here I am again with Mozzy. This is the third video of this session. He had already been flagged, bagged, and saddled for the first time. And here I'm messing around in preparation of putting a first ride on. I have his head bent around to me, and I'm looking to ride both sides, as it were. So my left foot's in the stirrup, and I'm just going to hang there, balanced over my saddle, and wait for him to be soft and keep his feet still. And when I'm happy with that, then I step down and pet on him. This colt has a super brain. He's just a 2-year-old. He's an awesome Roni son out of a Rolling Jack's copper daughter. He's really shapy and nice. Seems to retain information well. I'm really excited for this one. He's nice. Now I go to do the same thing on the right-hand side, and that's very awkward. I'm a lot less coordinated on that side because I'm usually mounting on the left. So it takes me a second to get set up. And when he gets kind of uncomfortable and wants to move away, I go to flapping my stirrup, and I just keep the pressure on and keep doing that until he decides to stop. Then when he stops, I'll pet him. Took him to a little bit better spot here. I didn't really want him up against the fence. And the near side of the round pen there is kind of a deep spot. It was a little wet from the most recent rain. I try to stay with him with my foot in the stirrup as he moves away. And I try to keep his head bent around to me, so if he did have a big problem with something, he would spin around instead of taking off straight forward. So I'm leaned over him, messing with my opposite stirrup, touching him on the flank, touching him on the shoulder, and then jump down, pet on him again. You can see him lick and chew quite a few times during this video. He is definitely a thinker. I lead him back out into the sand a little bit, away from the fence, and go to step on him again. Just leaned up over him. I'm clicking to him here. I want him to disengage his hip. Just like that. With my weight on him. And when he stops his feet, then I step down. Pet on him a little more. Go to step up again. And swing on for the first time. I chuck my wallet out of the way there. I don't want it to fall out in the sand somewhere. So the first thing I'm going to do is keep his head bent around to the left and look for him to disengage. I need to get those hindquarters freed up. That's about the most important thing that I can do here. And I do a lot of petting and shaking my saddle back and forth, letting him feel everything. This is the first time he's ever had a human on his back. Swap sides. Have his head bent around to the right now. Sometimes that's a little bit of trouble for colts when you swap sides, flexing their head, and they see you out of that other eye for the first time. Occasionally that's a shock, but Mozzy didn't really care. Looking for him to be able to disengage on both sides. Here I'm just playing with him, seeing if I can convince him to step front. This is all brand new, so I'm just looking for a lean, half a step, whatever I can get. Whatever he's willing to give me. So I just stick in there and wait until he offers something that kind of feels like stepping a front, and then I praise him. Of course, nothing is perfect at this point. It's all just super rudimentary, basic stuff. Flex him around to the left again. He wants to be pretty soft in that halter, especially at a standstill. He's a little bit stiff occasionally, but not bad at all. Looking for that rear end again. He steps it right around. And I pet on him some more. This is a super, super nice colt. You can see him licking chew again right there. I try to do a lot of praising and petting on the first few rides. Bend around to the right again, looking for that hip. Praise and pet. Getting a few forward steps there. That's really good stuff. I didn't ask for a whole lot during this ride. I looked for hinds for the most part and suggested stepping fronts, and then we worked on just a few steps of the walk and turning both directions. But I didn't look for him to move out at all. We didn't trot or lope. That will come. He's kind of taken forward steps here on an arc. Really good stuff. He didn't feel humpy or anything like that. He wasn't at all tight. Just super chill and willing. Honestly, in my experience with the Awesome-Roni horses, this is a pretty standard first ride for these guys. And I'm by myself here. I don't have a helper or anything, so with some of these colts, it can be kind of tough to get them to move out on your own. But I do have a few tricks up my sleeve for that. Just cruising around here. This guy was so willing. He never got pissy or worked up or afraid. He was just really super easy. He had a bug biting him there and let me scratch him on the ear. He just loved it. Super nice colt. He's really freed up in that hind end now. It doesn't take much to ask him to disengage. And he's coming off of my feet to take forward steps. And I'm not having to work very hard to ask him to move out. Granted, we're not trotting or loping or anything, but it's nice to not have to just wail on him for one step. My round pen gate wasn't latched, and it kind of blows open right here. I was thinking about getting off to fix it, but then I say, nah, heck with it, and I go close it while I'm on his back. Of course, not perfect, but pretty cool for a first ride. Just messing around. He was real willing. A lot of colts are kind of scared of the gate. I cheat and change sides right here to get a little bit closer. This guy just doesn't seem to care. What a nice little guy. I'm pretty much rubbing the hair off of him. I'm petting him so much. And you saw me there, I just pet him up on his head between his ears. He just doesn't care. walk right off. Kind of scared him there, but not bad. Walk a circle to the right. Having to ask a little bit more for forward steps here. He steps right on that flag. Doesn't get bothered at all. I'm a pretty big advocate for trusting in your groundwork. Walk a circle to the left. Pet on him some more. I try to be really patient with these guys. I'm just looking for little stuff. And obviously it's not going to be perfect or fancy because he's so early on, but I'm just proud of how nice he did. This was a super first ride, even though I didn't get moving out very much. Here I'm looking for him to back up. Just kind of bump him on the halter and wait. And there he picked up a foot, so I praised him. Now watch how quick he backs up the second time I ask. Right there, just like that. So I go ahead and step off. I forgot to bend his head to me there, but he didn't seem to mind too much. I was sure impressed with this guy. Not a very long ride. I don't ask a whole heck of a lot of my 2-year-olds. I just want to get a little bit of start on them and see what they're going to be. Go ahead and pull this saddle off of him. He's really gentle about that. I'm not even holding on to his rope for the most part. Jerk that saddle off. I kind of pick up his eye there and ask him to disengage a little. And then I really rub on him and pet on him. I want it to be as good an experience as I can make it. I want him to be comfortable. Walk around his butt. That's actually the first time I've ever walked around his butt like that. He was okay with it in that direction. Rub on him on the other side. Walk around his butt again. He was a little bit worried about that. Took a step, but that's okay. Well, as always, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. That was a pretty cool first ride.